So for the past 5 years, I've been working on a TV series called Deadclaw, and I think it's time to talk about it. So if you're new to watching my content, your first thought is like, "Well, you're making a TV show." First off, I'm a film director, so yes, I am working on a TV show. I can consider myself a film director because I have made my own short films. The first one was Todd the Dealer. I made that one in 2020, and then there was The Man in the Mask, which is a interesting film, but you can go to my YouTube channel, RKV Claw Productions, on YouTube, and you can watch all of my stuff there. I do a little bit of everything. I tried sticking with one thing, but it's boring. Like, I feel like you're more interesting if you just do a mixture of everything. As of right now, because my resources are very limited, I can't game or anything like that. So, the Fat Man and some of these commentary videos and whatnot are going to be coming out. I just want to come up with like a decent script to follow, so that way I don't go off topic, because I'm ADHD and sometimes I can go off topic and then completely forget what I'm even talking about. The reason why Deadclaw is called Deadclaw, you're thinking that you're thinking probably Deadpool or Deathstroke or Deathclaw. I've heard people say Deathclaw, which really pisses me off because it's like Deadclaw. I know that sounds similar, but they're not. They're completely different entities, because Deadclaw is a superhero and a Deathclaw is, well, you know what a fucking Deathclaw is if you played Fallout. I created this character originally intended to be part of the Marvel Universe. My idea for this character was he was going to be an X-Men, or at least allies with the X-Men and a bunch of other superhero teams in the Marvel Universe. He was going to be a clone of Deadpool and Wolverine, similar to how there's a clone of Spider-Man and Deadpool called Itsy Bitsy, which that came out, I think, years after. So obviously there was no inspiration in that. But originally, now I want people to understand that I didn't really read a whole lot of comic books. I've read some, not a whole lot, so I don't know if there's any other characters that are kind of like that, where they're a clone of a certain character but they're called something else. But that's what Deadclaw was, and I kind of just went balls out with this character. Like, he was gonna have a fucking, like, for some reason, an adamantium Iron Man suit, even though he had a healing factor and his own kind of claw ability or whatever. I don't know. I was a kid, and thinking about it now, it's kind of like, I was gonna make that dude overpowered. Fast forwarding to I think 2018, 2019, I started doing more with the character by creating Everlast, who is his sidekick slash love interest, and then there's his the villain, Weapon Master, and Bounty. Which Bounty is going to change, because Bounty is just bounty hunter, Bounty for short. I don't know. It was a dumb thing, and I had to come up with something quick. But she's an interesting villain as it is, and no, there is no relations between Bounty and Weapon Master. Bounty sees Weapon Master as more as like a father figure, and I'll get to into that later on. So in 2020, during the pandemic, I decided I wanted to be a film director. Now, when I decided that, I had no idea what I was doing. But what I did know is that Deadclaw was going to be one of my projects. And if anything, it was going to be one of my first big projects, because there's the Fat Man, which is going to be like a low budget short film, but Deadclaw is going to be my first big project, even though it's still going to take a while. So, I mean, I could even have something out before then, but I'm hoping Deadclaw will be the first big project out there. I have an awesome team behind me, and I've gotten so lucky because, so many people, including my own grandmother, God rest her soul, saying, you should be careful. These people can screw you over. No, I haven't been screwed over once by the people I've been working with on Deadclaw, and so I've been extremely lucky. And I don't recommend anyone else who's just like, oh, I want to be a film director. I don't recommend you just do that and then make a post on Facebook in a acting directors group saying, hey, I want to start a project and I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but here's this, and this. Because that's what I did. And you lose people and then you gain people. That's kind of like how it went. And I also made some mistakes because I was extremely naive about it, and we kind of lost the people because of that. But I'll get into that later, because again, about being who I want to be as a film director and trying to be a public figure and whatnot, I want to be open to people and also know let people know that I've changed in so many ways. It's crazy character development. If you know what I'm saying. If you want to know more about Deadclaw, you can actually just follow me, subscribe to me, whatever, and I will be doing more. Um, it's just give me that motivation so I can continue to talk about it, so that I can start gaining a fan base around Deadclaw, because I really think that what we have here is something beautiful, and I cannot wait for you guys to actually see it eventually. We just got a concept artist, and he does he pitches like these projects to other direct investors and whatnot. So um, he's kind of well known. I can't say anything because of like NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. So I don't want to get too much in. I don't want to talk too much into that. But yeah. Anyways, like or follow for more, like too. That also helps. I'll see you guys later.